Hello, my name is Gideon Hagley. I'm a senior majoring in film and television studies. The topic I am covering is, will biomarkers for Alzheimer's disease be a good tool for life planning? Before I answer that question, I first need to inform you on both what biomarkers and Alzheimer's disease are. A biomarker is a biological molecule found in blood, other body fluids, or tissue that is a sign of a normal or abnormal process or of a condition or disease. A biomarker may be used to see how well the body responds to a treatment for a disease or condition, also called molecular marker and signature molecule. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive disease that destroys memory and other important mental functions. Brain cell connections and the cells themselves degenerate and die, eventually destroying memory and other important mental functions. Moving on from the what, we move to the why. Alzheimer's disease becomes worse over time. There are more than 3 million cases per year. There is no cure, but the effects can be slowed with medication if diagnosed early. Now, let me provide you with the history of Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD. It is named after Dr. Elias Alzheimer, who is pictured here. He noticed changes in the brain tissue of a woman who had died from an unusual mental illness in 1906. While examining her brain, he found many abnormal clumps and tangled bundles of fibers. These would go on to be considered some of the main features of AD. After reviewing the what, the why, and learning all the background information, two questions appeared before me. The first one stemmed from equality. It was, would everyone have equal access to using biomarkers as a life planning tool towards Alzheimer's disease? And the second one was, would the process to getting biomarkers as a tool be strenuous on a normal person? These questions were answered after research and allowed me to form my stance of no on the topic. Biomarkers will not be a good tool for planning in regards to Alzheimer's disease. Obtaining biomarkers are invasive and uncomfortable. They are expensive to get and keep up with. If only the rich and wealthy can have access to it, then it is not a good tool. Like everything in the world, there will always be another side of things. A counter argument to my stance could be, using biomarkers as a tool would be good for life planning in regards to AD because it would help some, and the information gained from that could cause breakthroughs in research that could help others. I believe that to be unethical, and will use 4 philosophical concepts learned during the lectures in the first half of the semester to prove that. The first concept I'll be discussing is virtue ethics. Virtue ethics state that practicing good habits such as honesty, compassion, and generosity makes a moral person. People seek the well-being of each other. That is why actions are performed, so that people can be happy. Using biomarkers goes completely against this. Only a few would be able to experience this happiness, while others would suffer. The people that are suffering would know that the only reason they can obtain the happiness is because of man-made systems beyond their control. There is nothing moral about this in the slightest. The second concept would be social contract theory. The thought process behind this is, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Only providing for some while not allowing others to have the same goes completely against it. In the social contract theory, morality is governed by how people treat each other through interactions that mutually benefit everyone. Biomarkers do not fall within that categorically, making it morally wrong to be used. Using biomarkers falls under a rich person's conceptual part, and there would be no society if everyone did the same thing. The third concept is deontology. It is more black and white than any of the other concepts. It entails things as wrong if the action itself was immoral despite the outcome. Putting out a service that blocks people from using it with barriers is automatically immoral under it. An action should only be committed if it can be implemented for everyone. Only some people having access to things that could prolong their life should never become universal for everyone. So biomarkers only being able to be used by the rich is unethical, even if there are breakthroughs in the future. Utilitarianism was probably the easiest out of the 4 to find support on my stance of no for. An act is only moral under this concept if and only if it intends to produce the most happiness. Biomarkers only being available to those that can afford it does not bring happiness to the majority of people. While it may diminish unhappiness for the few that can afford it, it doesn't match the unhappiness that it actually brings. It brings about injustice because it negatively affects the poor. It keeps them in a state of unhealthiness simply because they couldn't afford it. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I also hope you agreed with me.